sometimes, but I always work at it anyway. Hello, folks.
Me too.
You caught us midstream here. Happy July 1st, right? New month and new world ahead of us. Every day the sun comes up to a new world, I always say. I'm Joe Wesley, and
Hey, I'm Lizzy Gabor. Yes, happy 4th of July weekend coming up too.
that's true. Thank you for that. For those who are seeing us for the first time, thank you for joining us. For those who are seeing us again, thank you for joining us again. Some house rules here. We always start at 8 o'clock plus or minus 15 seconds, sometimes a little bit early to give you some background connectivity. If you happen to miss that, then we do live reviews or replays on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook. And we do ask if you look at us through YouTube, remember to sign in either to your Google or Facebook, YouTube account. Sorry for that. It's been a long morning for me. Anyway, that being said, the messaging here is Lizzy talks about mindfulness. And the phrase that catches me about what she says is that it provides better fulfillment for your life, better enjoyment, better success. Well, those words I understand, but I don't connect that with mindfulness syndrome. I'm a left brain kind of guy, and it's got to make sense to me. But so I'm trying to puzzle this out. So I'm hoping if I challenge her, ask her, maybe I'll learn something from her. She is very, very sneaky. She's always trying to suck me into her way of thinking. Well, I'm still clueless at this. So we do ask, please share your comments, your thoughts, your questions or opinions. Help me out here, ladies and gents. Anyway, the topic for today is the concept. First off, the July 1st, this is our 31st session. So
Woohoo!
there's a one in there someplace. So congratulations on that one. We've been actually we've done one a week. I've lost track. See how confused I get on this stuff here. But I like numbers and how they jingle with each other. So there must be some symbolism in there someplace. But that being said, today's topic is about crazy before creativity. What I mean by that, first off, rules here. We don't rehearse what we're going to talk about. I will share a topic with her to give her some chance to try to explain things in preparation. But today, one of her statements I think about is that mindfulness implies from having fulfillment, having enjoyment, having improvement, there has to be some creativity there, I'm thinking. But my concept, and I don't know if she thinks that way or not, we're going to find out today. My thinking is you got to be a little bit crazy sometimes to be creative, to happen. And I'll explain what I'm saying. As a kid, I wanted to learn to ride a bike. And I think anybody who's learned to ride a bike, somehow that happens. Well, it never occurred to me that I was going to fall at least 8,000 times trying to learn to ride that bike. And some people might say, geez, you've fallen already 5 times. You're going to try it again. That's kind of crazy, isn't it? Why would you subject yourself to that? But my focus was I wanted to learn to ride that bike. So I got to my proud moment was besides no one's holding me up. I was shocked when that happened, when they're pushing from behind. And I've done the same thing in teaching. And I keep running behind them. I got you, keep going. Because I knew if they knew they weren't being supported, they'd immediately flop off to the side. Anyway, that being said, the greatest thing beyond that first ride by myself was like, look, Ma, no hands. So it was that kind of growth process to the point I could even turn a corner on a street, hands on my hips, just riding myself and feeling very good about it. So I'm convinced that before you can become creative, you have to be a little bit crazy to get there. And I would think with that, resistance and reluctance and doubt. So I'm going to stop rambling here and give Lizzy a chance to explain how this stuff works.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what you meant by crazy before creative, so I was curious to see where you were going with that. Yeah, but I think that just the bike riding example is great because it's like anything. I mean, you have to be able, if you're going to innovate, if you're going to grow, if you're going to learn something new, you have to be willing to fall down and get back up and make mistakes. And, that's the part that I think stumps a lot of us as we go into adulthood, because we feel like we're not allowed, a lot of times in the workplace or even, anywhere, if we make a mistake or we fail, we're going to be punished. And when it's not like part of, I believe that the failing falling, and the falling should be part of the process, because that's the only way that you're going to create something new or different, or be willing to take the risk to try things. So I don't see it as crazy. I see it as that's kind of what we're here to do. We're here to grow. We're here to try new things. We're here to like, and that's why we're talking on this computer thing here, because somebody had the crazy idea to, or the creative idea to try to create this box that we can, connect on.
I agree with you. Now, you made a comment earlier that you didn't know where I was going with this, but that's where I am with you. Same folks, see what we're talking about here? Left brain, right brain, we don't know where each other's going with it, and somehow through dialogue, maybe some magic will happen. And Lizzy just made the point. It was kind of maybe a crazy concept, but the key is, I'm thinking, my left brain functioning here, that anytime something's brand new, not yet experienced, it's a little bit unnerving, I would think, to put it mildly. And so, from my perspective, when I hear this, I'll call it this yin and yang stuff. And by the way, she's well respected. She's very successful at what she does. So there's no question in the marketplace. She's a functioning, established, credible persona. My left brain can get that, but when it gets to the exact concept of it, then I get lost all over again. So my thinking is, if somebody comes to you, however it happens, some may be pre-primed for it, but let's say somebody who's a lost soul like myself, to make the analogy here, and I'm dragged in by my wife because she feels I need salvation, I guess, that I'm going to have a lot of doubt in my head. So what types of things would you do as that doubting person? And maybe they come on their own volition, and maybe somebody referred them, and they're still plastered in the world they're used to. Do you use techniques that kind of smooth them into the world that you believe will work better for them? That's kind of the question here.
Well, I think we take a look at, their life. We take a look at, the different areas of their life, and and if they're willing to assess, where they're at in different areas, are they a 1 in the area of fun, or in the area of relationships with their spouse, or is it a 10? And so where is that big gap? What's going on? So we try to figure out what's going on. That's, what can we do? What little steps can we do to bring that number up a little bit? And it starts also with really figuring out. I really like to figure out, where are your strengths? What are the qualities about you that people value, that you value about yourself? Let's talk about those, and how do you enjoy using those? See if you can envision a world where you're utilizing them within your work, within your relationships, and then also just really getting clear about what it is that brings you joy, and are you doing those things on a regular basis? Because I believe we're here. I've said it before, it's our birthright to have joy in our lives. Joy is our birthright. And I start to say, let that be your GPS system. Let that be your guiding.
See how creative she is? She's using left brain terminology to suck me in. GPS. I'm impressed by that stretch on you.
And I mean, I see people that really are unhappy waking up in the morning. They're pushing snooze 15 times and not wanting to be excited for their day, and to me, that's not a life. So how can we get you creatively inspired in some way? And maybe it's trying something new, maybe it's, trying something you haven't done before, doing something together like that you both maybe did when you first were together, if it's you and your wife or whatever, and going and trying and doing that again, and just kind of sparking a little bit more of that wonder that,
I guess
everywhere, if you look for it.
I hear that, and a thought occurred to me as I'm listening, that the fact that they're in your office or your place of business already defines them as somebody somewhat maybe receptive. Now, it could be 4 bodyguards outside the door to make sure the guy doesn't go dashing out the first chance they get. I had I'm an ophthalmologist by my prior training, an eye surgeon, and I had a patient walk in once, first visit, and he gets into the room and his eyes got big, like huge big. He's startled, and he turned to like dash back out of the room again. And I kind of grabbed his arm, like, "Hey, what's up?" He says, "I didn't want him to come to a dentist." So that was his first thought when he saw the eye chair and the instrumentation. So I had to assure him, no, dentists have much nicer furniture and a room decorum than eye surgeons do. So I would expect someone, although you don't have physical equipment, I guess there's a lot of emotional equipment that you have in hand and knowledge. And as I'm listening to you describe what you do, a lot of things flash in my head. One thing is a consultant, one thing is a therapist, one thing is taking a history before you make a plan of action. It's not like somebody comes in, you lay a hand on their forehead. Let's do it that way. A hand on their forehead.
No, I'm not. I'm not an energy healer, although I do believe in it. But no, it's really about questioning with coaching more than therapy. It's not like, it's not about going back into your past. And, we do try to look at what are your limiting beliefs, like the things that you believe about yourself, and questioning them. Are they true? Is it true for you now? Do you really want to hold on to that thought? What would it be like if you didn't think that about yourself? Like for example, I'm never going to make a lot of money, or I'm never going to, and it's like, where did that come from? So, we do a lot of inquiry, and help shine a light on people's blind spots, So it's a partnership, and it's not therapy. It's not therapy, and it's just really having somebody, I say it's a judgment-free zone, but we are human. People have, you have to keep your judgment in check, and really give your people your focus. I'm there to give my ultimate focus to people, and be a sounding board, and be a reflect back to them what they're saying, and really asking the right questions is really important.
Asking the right questions. And in fact, I just wrote a topic for an upcoming discussion. Is there ever a bad day of interaction on behalf of the client? And I'm not sure yet how to phrase that. I'll have to make it more concise. But you made the innuendo. Rephrase that. Do you ever have slow moments? And this is kind of a different subject. We'll have to come back to it. But a client will come to you. They might think, "Whoa, you're going to make me good in 30 seconds, and I'm out of here, and I'm a whole different person." Is that a realistic approach? I'm assuming the answer is no. But
I do standalone sessions, but it has to be very targeted on like one thing that they want, and if it gets into, that's really not why they're here. Because a lot of times, in the questioning, it's not about that thing. It's about something else. So it may, and then it's up to the person. Do they really want to, are they all in on this, wanting to, make this better?
Well, and I'm going to interrupt on that. See, that's where I am on this. How I don't know to be all in, because I'm not familiar with what's ahead of me on this journey you would provide. Right. And that's kind of how I'm hitting on this. I'm going to have doubt. That's my craziness factor. Why am I here? I still have self-doubt. Am I being foolish? Am I wasting my time? Am I wasting my money? And my friend said I need to do it. I should do it. And she's my best friend. Okay, fine. So that's the craziness of why that person might be there that first few encounters. And so that's, to me, it's kind of a stepping stone to move into a more creative mode. Maybe more dialogue than this might be of value. But you see where I am on this in terms of conversation?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, it's like, what is your goal for coming to me? Right. First, it's like, why are you here? Like, that's what you got to get.
My goal is, my wife said that she would leave me if I didn't show up today. So I want to keep my wife. So maybe that's my goal. So how would you kind of play into, geez.
Yeah. So then it's like, okay, so then let's try to figure out how we can keep your, so what is it that she wants, that she's telling you, and then then we look at your part. It's not about you being wrong. It's just you have, again, creating more awareness about what your role is and how you might be acting. Are you walking in the house just looking for dinner and not saying hello and giving her a kiss and looking her in the eye, and and those are all little mindfulness techniques that are easy, and it just can make radical shifts in your relationship, and they're just little slight things that you can do. I heard a story just the other day about a friend of a friend was telling me about her daughter was going to camp, and the little girl, she was like 5, didn't want to go. She was just scared. She's like, I don't want to go. I don't want to go. I don't want to go. And she took her to the camp, and the counselor, rather than just handling it in however way, the counselor said, I understand. I didn't want to come either. I didn't want to get out of bed. She said, let's go sit down. Your mom can come. Your mom will sit down and read you a book. Well, just to hang out with us. And the daughter was like, okay, it just changed everything. And rather than her just taking her hand and pulling her away into the camp and saying, bye, Mom, so just that little, availability of just like, let's just, meet you where you're at. And it can just really change the experience for everybody. And
I hear that. I appreciate that. Geez, we're a minute over our time. Sorry, folks, we're going over our 15-minute thing. We just get so much into this. So I'm going to come back. I like the camp example, and some thought comes to mind also to come back to that in terms of people who would start out therapy going through that crazy zone. That's how I see it still, to maybe get to that fulfillment part of their lifestyle. So I wish certainly everybody a happy 4th of July celebration weekend.
Happy 4th of July. And we should talk about the differences between therapy and coaching, because I've done both. I've experienced both myself too.
Okay, now, and see, I always thought they're the same. So see how these things pop up before we start talking all over again. Folks, have a good weekend. We'll see you guys
next week. Have a great weekend.
Take care.
Bye.